So here we are at Salisbury Cathedral, which is one massive, great, fantastical machine, and a marker for an angel. So under this here somewhere is going to be an angel machine. The spire is amazing. So it's been here for at least 800 years that we know of. The original antiquity will no longer be on the top of this. Completely amazing. Right, we're going to go inside.
Well, hey guys. So yes, I went to Salisbury Cathedral, and it was very off the cuff, last minute decision to go and have a look. So I didn't really have a clue anything that was going on there. I've never been to Salisbury. I was quite surprised at how medieval a lot of the stuff is there. But while this is playing in the background, what I'm going to do is give you some information about the cathedral and some of the stuff that I found out. I'm going to go to Wiki for this. There is plenty of other information about, and I have been looking at it. So it's formerly the Cathedral Church of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and is an Anglican cathedral in Salisbury. It's regarded as one of the leading examples of early English Gothic, and the main body was completed in 38 years, from 1220 to 1258. Now, there's a small series of videos about Salisbury Cathedral by a guy called Jonathan Meads, who is an intellectual, a bit of a pundit, an iconoclast, and he was born in Salisbury and went to the Cathedral Church school, and has a very cynical take on this whole thing. And he said that the reason it was built in 38 years, which apparently is really a short period of time to build something like this, is because they had basically a bottomless pit of money. And on Wiki it tells you that it was the construction was paid for by donations principally from the canons and vicars of South East England, who were asked to contribute a fixed annual sum. Well, maybe, but where do you think they got their money from? It was from the likes of me and thee, who didn't have a choice in the matter through tithes. They just took from the poor and just poured it into this place, and it is ostentatious and was from the start. It is like some sort of like over-the-top crazy place. And when you want to go inside, it's full of tombs, really ornate, over-the-top tombs, and outside all these statues, many of which are fairly modern. There's a lot of plinths that are empty, and they've been replacing whatever was there since Victorian times mostly, so I don't know what was in the plinths before. Very interesting to find out what was going on in these niches, all these niches around. But let's carry on with a bit of information. The spire was built in 1320. It's 404 feet tall, and has been the tallest church spire in the United Kingdom since 1561, so I don't know what the tallest one was before that. You can actually go up the tower, and it's got original wooden scaffolding, it's saying. It's the largest cloister and the largest cathedral close. It's got a medieval clock. I didn't actually film that, but I will next time I go. because I will be going again. And what sort of interested me as much as anything else is that it was originally on a completely different site, 2 miles to the north, on an old hill fort at Old Sarum. And they decided to move the whole thing, and I think they probably did use a lot of the old stone as well. Down there, they just moved it. So the cathedral crossing, Old Sarum and Stonehenge reputed to be aligned on ley lines. Although Clive I.L.N. Ruggles, I guess he's some sort of archaeologist, asserts that the site on marshland was chosen because a preferred site several miles to the west couldn't be obtained. Well, I just don't know. But what I do know is that this cathedral, which is absolutely huge, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's got, like, let's have a look at some of this spec here. 70,000 tonnes of stone, 3,000 tonnes of timber, and 450 tonnes of lead. Built in 38 years. Just absolutely crazy. On marshland. They built it on marshland. And a little bit of interesting info is that my daughter's partner, his family are Masons, and they do actually sort of have a family legend that they helped build Salisbury Cathedral, and that they had to put bales of hay down. I know they couldn't sink the stones very far because of the wet land. I mean, who builds a cathedral on marshland? So one of the explanations for this is that there were water courses, there was a river, so that they could ferry stones from further south. But I don't know, I just find the whole thing a bit strange. But the weight of the spire is so much you can actually see it bending inside the cathedral. And Christopher Wren apparently had to use reinforced tie beams. Anyway, this Old Sarum place, as I said, is a couple of miles to the north, and was a very, very busy, prosperous old Salisbury. And they built a great cathedral there, a royal palace. It was just very, very buzzy, and then for some reason they decided to move the cathedral. The priesthood got into fisticuffs with the militia, and they just moved away. And by about 1322, the whole place was over. It was gone. It was done. But the buildings of Old Sarum were dismantled for stone, and its old town dwindled. I just find it very strange. Yeah, that's supposed to be here on the photograph here, the old cathedral grounds. I just don't know. This, obviously, to me, this old place seems to be the original marker, and they've just sort of, I just find it such a strange story to move it. But the cloisters, these cloisters, as soon as I saw the cloisters, I just got a feeling that they were older than the cathedral. And if you look at the map of the cathedral, you can see that the cathedral itself, and they're very, very proud of the lines of the cathedral, how symmetrical it is, how beautiful it is, and then they stick these cloisters on the side. So I think that whatever was there before, I think there was probably a monastery there before, because it was an Anglican cathedral, it wasn't a Catholic cathedral. So they were, and it said that they built the cloisters for contemplation. And I really don't believe in this sort of like virtuous priesthood story. I can't see them wandering around cloisters in contemplative sort of meditation, especially if they've, considering they've been fisticuffing with the Old Sarum lot not long before. I think it was there before. I think it's a relic of the old age. As does Jonathan Meads. He says it a little bit more obscurely. He's a little bit more obscure about his observations. He just says it seems to have come from a simpler, different time. And I think he's right. Yeah. So this thing here that's on the screen at the moment, this was a completely over-the-top carved, like with all these sorts of letters, statue, like some sort of like crypt thing with this guy on the top. But he was covered in like almost like bloody hieroglyphics. It was so strange to see. This is a font, and these are army cadets, and this is a font that was put in the 1980s sometime, and it is constantly flowing over on the edges, so you can either be dipped in it or you can have the on the head thing if you're baptised. And we got some Antiquitech here. This is original, but the date on one of them, it does say 17 something, I think, or 15 something on this lower bit, 1709, so not original, I'd say. Yeah, so these cloisters are sort of my little thing. There's even 2 cedar trees there, 2 huge cedar trees, and it's I just feel that the cloisters are the marker. I don't know why, I just got a feeling about these cloisters. They're from the old whatever was there before. Monasteries were everywhere at one time. Anyway, I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of the video, and thanks for watching.
Is this the block you're going to be putting in? Yeah? You're a proper mason? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at the red brick behind. So it's all faced with red brick, all the stone faced onto the red brick?
Yeah, all packed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is spread work in I found at other places.
Smashing old building.
Yeah.
Lovely. Good trade you have there.
That's trade.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, really.
Yeah, my son-in-law's from a family of masons, but he's tree cutting these days. Still dusty. Have a good day.